Grand Rising, everybody. I hope you all slept well because today is day 2 of this vintage RV rebuild series. So, what we're gonna get started on today is basically just getting acquainted with the engine bay, mechanical aspect of things, and I'm going to be calling around to try and get my safety in Ontario because while I have a Quebec safety, I live in Ontario and I need an Ontario safety. They're very different for some mysterious reason. I've already called one RV place and they don't do safeties. So it looks like I'm gonna have to try and find a heavy duty mechanic that will safety this thing, and that way I can finish the registration and square that all away, and then I can focus on the actual build. And yeah, so instead of looking at me, I will let you look at this beautiful thing. I've got the hood open and I was just looking around, getting to know the heart of this beast, and as you can see, everything is in pretty good shape in terms of structure and condition. Got the nice big carb, and from what I see, there's no like shoddy wiring, which can be an occurrence on older vehicles like this. I've had several old vehicles and there's usually something going on, but this one looks to be pretty good, and has a new brake master cylinder. I know it has new spark plugs and spark plug wires. I don't think the distributor is new, but they did some maintenance to it, like they serviced it fairly well, and yeah, everything seems to be looking good, you know. With that being said, it does also look really well tidy underneath, with the exception of a few bushings. That's my sway bar bushings. Let's check the other side just for fun. Okay. Yeah, that one's just as bad. The bottom one's pretty cracked. But bushings are bushings, man. And they're not meant to last forever unless you get polyurethane. Alright, so now that that little inspection is complete and I haven't found anything that is in dire need of attention in the engine bay, what I know I do need to do is fix a fuel line, which I'm not sure which one it is. I'm not sure if it's a return hose or not, but last night I had backed it into my driveway and I'm at a slope, and because I have filled the tank pretty much to full, when it was on that degree, the fuel was getting to a cracked line and it was spilling out. So I diagnosed that last night, and the line is pretty bad. The hose is like split, and it's joined to a nipple to another hose, but that hose is fine, and then I just haven't been able to see where the cracked hose leads to. So I may or may not be able to do that myself depending on where the hose is running to, but there's that. And then I know the primary fuel tank needs a fuel pump, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that checks off the non-working, malfunctioning fuel gauge because it always reads empty. So I'm assuming that it does that because only the primary fuel tank has the sensor, but it could be an issue in and of itself. So I will need to address those things for certain, and then whatever else they say at safety, hopefully it's nothing, because this was safetied less than a year ago in Quebec and they haven't really used it. But Ontario safeties are a little bit stricter, and it really all depends on who you go to see. So with that being said, let's get some phone calls in, see what we can do about that. I'll come back with hopefully good news, and then we'll actually get some work done today. I'm gonna make a list of everything that I am able to compile today of what I want to get done for this thing in its entirety. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of work that I'm going to be putting into this. While it may look livable, I would consider it more as drivable rather than livable. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be addressed for it to be considered a full-time residence. Maybe if you were using it very sparingly, this would be sufficient, as it kind of looks okay. Doesn't look terrible, but once you start closely examining things with the magnifying glass, you'll see that it's far from perfect. So I mean, let me show you an example. Look right here, this beautiful window in this loft bed area. It looks good from far, right? Maybe you're a fan of this kind of wallpaper, but it's peeling, and there is a gap between the inside window frame and the outside window frame. As you can see, that there's a nice gap there. It goes about, that's as far down as it goes, so maybe 3 inches, 2.5 inches, and there's no foam or any insulation in this part. It's just open. So this needs to be filled in and then sealed all the way around to make sure that there's no give in the wall, no swaying, and no leaks from the window. You don't want, like, this is sealed, kind of. It's not the greatest. So that would need to be resealed as well, just to be certain. And to make sure that these windows don't have any leaks. I mean, this one is good. There's no gapping here. Like, virtually none. Obviously I'd reseal that window too, but like, you can see my finger behind here. It's not even meeting the wall properly. So that all needs to be filled in and then resealed, and then resealed here. So clearly there's a bit of warping in the vinyl there. Ceiling's not bad here. I haven't been able to get to this side yet because I haven't moved any of this shit yet, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And then yeah, that's just another one of those things. And like you can see here, the ceiling is cut pretty bad, and they didn't cut it properly to the right size, so it sags really badly, and the paint's terrible. It's not nice. They have these ugly brackets to hold the ceiling up, which is beyond me why they did that and didn't screw it directly into the ceiling. So I'm hoping there's no surprises under there in terms of what it looks like. The ceiling should be wood and aluminum. And if there's enough thickness to it, then you should be able to screw into it, but I mean, time will tell for this kind of thing. So, oh, also I turned on the AC unit today. The cover's still on, so I just turned it on for a couple seconds because I'm plugged in. I just wanted to make sure that it's running, and it does come on. I don't know how cold it gets, but today's not that hot. It's raining, so I don't see the need to do that today. I'll pick a nice hot day, and I'll be able to see how cold it gets and see if it will keep me cool on the hottest of extreme days in Costa Rican weather. So yeah, that's about it for that sort of thing. And yeah, let's get those calls in and let's get to work. I also wanted to show you guys one other thing before we get into the nitty-gritty list. I managed to figure out how to open the emergency exit. For a while it would just not open. Seemed to be pretty stuck. But it's not on like an actual hinge. That's about as far open as it gets, but it lets in pretty nice breeze. Like when the window's closed, there's still a good like draft that comes in. It's right at the bathroom, so you know, you can close the curtain. And if you need some extra ventilation from the shower or whatever, if it's steamy, you can turn that fan on and open this window like all the way up. You could just prop it open with a little stick or whatever. And I thought that was pretty cool. It seems to seal itself pretty well. This stuff is still pretty spongy. Doesn't seem like it got much use, but it's always nice to have. That is for certain. Anyways, let's get some work done. Alright everybody, so we're just finishing up for the evening. It's about 11:30 p.m. So it's been quite a full day, and the things I wanted to get done today, I got done for the most part. So I have my list, which is great, so at least now I have something to follow and help me keep track of everything and keep on track as well, so I don't get distracted or lost in terms of what's next. Although everything is pretty straightforward. I'm the type of person that once I finish something, as I'm finishing up, I'm looking for the next thing to do. So this will just help me keep organized. So I have my list, and I wouldn't say it's super long, but it's enough, and it's a lot of work. It's gonna be, I don't know, it's hard to say how long it'll be. I'm hoping to just have it done before the winter, and that way when everything is complete, I can just store it, or I can take off, and it depends on what my life is looking like around that time, but I want to try and have it done for then, just in case. And the only thing I'm not certain that I'll have done is the solar panels and the electrical, in terms of wiring the batteries. I want to get lithium batteries. I'm going to need a charge controller, distributor, inverter, and the wiring and all that stuff, and that's a very expensive investment to put into this thing. So I'm obviously going to be saving for that, but I'm not exactly sure on the timeline for that. But if I can get everything else done, that'd be perfect. And then come spring, if I don't leave in the winter, I'll tackle the solar power when I get there. The only thing I'm concerned about in that regard is being able to wire the panels to the breaker and to the charge controller, because the breaker is super like tucked away, and I don't want to mess around with it too much. There's already a lot of stuff going on there, and everything is working as of right now, so I'd like it to stay that way, and I don't want to have to like fix a mistake. So I want to make sure that gets done properly, and I have space to work. So either I'm going to have to cut out some of this closet area to do that and then redo it when that's finished, or I'm going to have to make some sort of like accessible door type deal that I can like get in there easier without having to take the breaker panel all the way out. But it may end up happening, because I want to have my solar batteries and my charge controller and everything like that underneath the bed, and it's directly across the hallway to the bathroom. So I'd either have to wire it under the floor or go around all the way around, but yeah, I don't know. It shouldn't be too tricky, but it'll require some creative thinking. But with that being said, the list is pretty much done. Obviously there will probably be things that I add on, like I even just thought of one more thing right now, but it's not major, and as I progress, those things will kind of add themselves onto each other. The other thing I wanted to get done today was find somewhere that I could take it for safety. So I called a few RV places. None of them do safeties, they only do service, which I find pretty bizarre. And I called my personal mechanic in hopes that he could do it, but this vehicle doesn't fit on his hoist, and that's like a policy at their shop, that if it can't fit on the hoist they can't do safety. But a neighboring shop that I've been to before, and they do pretty good work, he thinks that they'll do it, because he does heavy machinery stuff there, like dualies, and he handles a lot of fleet vehicles and things along that line, tow trucks and whatnot. So if he can hoist those, he can probably hoist this, or he'll just do a visual inspection maybe. But I'm gonna call him in the morning and see if I can get in tomorrow, maybe, which would be amazing, or sometime on the weekend, and then if I can get that done before Sunday, I'll go Sunday or Monday to finish the registration and tuck all that away. I also need an appraisal, but he can do that too, so fingers crossed that that turns out to be the case and I can just go there. It's literally 5 minutes from my house too, which is amazing, and so I don't see why he wouldn't do it. I don't think he would turn me away, or turn a job away for that matter. So Ahmed, if you see this, thank you in advance. I have a feeling that you're gonna do it for me, so yeah. let's hope that all goes accordingly tomorrow. And tomorrow we're just gonna get started on some deep cleaning. This thing's almost 40 years old. It's 38 years old, and while it may look relatively nice on the inside, when you start looking in the depths of things underneath the storage areas, like where the water tank is, the heater, underneath the sink, beneath the fridge, underneath the bed, it is filthy. It is absolutely disgusting. Like, there's inches worth of dirt and dust and debris and God knows what else. And it needs to go. So we're gonna start with that. Do a bunch of vacuuming all around the edges of the flooring too. There's gapping, and it traps a lot of stuff there too. I've been noticing. So, like, especially around the bench area. And I'm gonna extract the carpet in the front. Maybe I'll do the seats. Clean the dash. Give it a polish. Wipe all the vinyl down. And then I'm gonna steam clean everything. All the rails after I vacuum, all the rails. I might even do like all the trim and stuff. Clean the fridge out with the steamer. Disinfect everything. Just make sure everything is like as sanitary as possible, so that when I'm spending time in here, you know, it's comfortable. And as I work, obviously it'll get dirty again, but it'll be easier to clean up as I go along, rather than just letting it all pile up and then having to do an insane deep clean, which I already kind of have to do tomorrow, but it's necessary. And you guys will see, because I'm not going to spare any of the details. You'll see every single square inch of this thing, all the dirtiness and everything that I need to rip out and repair and replace. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. It wasn't too intense of a day. It was just a lot of mental labor. Tomorrow we'll get a little more physical, and I'll show you guys around more and about all the little intricacies that I've noticed with how this thing's working behind the scenes. So I think it'll be an exciting day. And with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you saw anything today that you thought was interesting, or you have any suggestions, please leave a comment. It would be amazing to hear from some of you, your thoughts, your advice, your opinions, whatever you'd like to share. That'd be amazing. And yeah, I hope you follow me along for the rest of the build, and once we're done, keep following me into my journey as I travel through North America into Central America with me and my dog. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today, and I hope you have a great evening or the rest of the day, wherever you're at, whenever you're watching this, and make sure you keep loving your heart. One love. Peace.